Just before talking on the gospel, give you an example of critical thinking. This woman and man were speaking. The woman said, "Do you drink?" And he said, "Yes." And she said, "How much?" Well, roughly about 3 beers a day. "How much does it cost?" Well, he said, with the tip it costs about me $5. And she said, "How long have you been drinking?" He said, 20 years, I think about 20 years. Well, she said, "You know, like, as you're drinking now, that's $450 a month, and in the year it's $5,400 you spend on drink. And when you think you've been drinking for 20 years, that would become now to $108,000. And if you were to eased up on your drinking and put the money in an account, a step-up interest account, and then you had your compound interest, by this stage in your life, you'd be able to buy a brand new Ferrari car." And the man said, "Do you drink?" The woman said, "No." So he said, "Well, where's your Ferrari?" That's got nothing to do with the gospel, by the way. Now, it's interesting, isn't it, to hear that gospel of the account of Jesus. First of all of us have stories to tell about our lives. You've all got your own particular life you've lived, and if someone asks you, you can talk a bit about it. And these two men now, the two disciples, they are on a journey. They had come away from Jerusalem, which was their hope and their dream, that Christ would save Israel, that all these wonderful works would continue, and they'd allied themselves with him. Then the whole thing collapses. Their whole world was shattered. Their hopes were dashed. So they decided, "We'll give all this Jerusalem stuff up." The Jerusalem stood for the church, and we'll walk away. As many Catholics are doing today, walking away. The Pope says, "Yeah, well, the church is a bit tough. It's got all these rules and regulations, and we've got all these scandals, and people are giving it up." Now, these two men were just ordinary human beings like us, and they walked away, but then they came back to the group, their little community, to tell them their story. And the story was how Jesus appeared to them on the way. And they then got strength from that. And so, in the middle of it all, he appears. And he tells them, I'm here now. I'm just like you. I need to eat and drink. I've got my hands and my feet. You can touch me. I mean, people said, "Well, who is this risen Christ? Is he a ghost? Is he an ephemeral spirit?" No, he's a human being like us, and he was risen, and we hope to do the same. And we hope that our bodies will be glorified on the day comes when we're all called forth from the grave. But in the meantime, we make our journey, our pilgrimage of life, and the big thing is that he's with us all the time. In his presence in all your ups and downs. You all know what it is to have failures and disappointments. You all know what it is to have times when your world collapses. It's happened in marriage, it happens in families, it happens at work, it happens when people don't get jobs. It's always happening. Things go wrong, and that's the pattern of life. And the thing that we have is we've got Christ with us. That's why you're here this morning. It's just a call that he's given you to be fortified by each other, by your faith, by your presence, and also to receive him in the Eucharist, which gives you that inner meeting with him in his risen form. So you get that surge of power, that surge of strength, that surge of hope, that surge of his grace and his spirit to carry you forward for the next week or as long as you can. And that's the reality of life. And always, though, we have that we're all on this journey of life. We all are walking every day. You've had another day today. Next week the schools will reopen and the parents will be running around like mad people trying to get their kids ready and go to school. But that's life. People have to work, people have to suffer sickness, and that's who it is. But always the stable central point is the presence of Christ risen, and he wants to raise us up in our sorrows. He wants to raise us up through our tribulations. He wants to raise us up again when our world falls down. And that's the mystery of life. It's your mystery and mine too.